Hey guys, figured I'd make a little video today of how we go about doing routes on a Lowrance running HDS 9s, and there's never a whole lot on YouTube or anywhere else about doing routes, so you could follow. I use my MotorGuide Xi5 all the time for following routes and making huge routes up to 10, 15 miles or so at a time. I actually use the Xi5 for steering, and I use it for trolling. So I got my little kicker motor doing all the propulsion, and the Xi5 just does the steering. So I'll typically make up routes on Lake Erie, where we fish a lot in the summer, Lake Ontario, or in this case I'm getting ready to go down to Bay of Quinte for some big fall walleye. So I want to make some decent routes and do a whole bunch of zigzags and all that, and make it so that I can start anywhere I want on the route and then follow the way I planned it, or go the opposite way or whatnot. So anyway, I'll just show you. A lot of people, I think, are just misinformed on how it all works with the actual link between the Xi5 and the HDS. So I just want to show what all I do, and a lot of guys also say, well, it kind of sucks that you can't follow a contour or whatnot, but I end up making a lot of the times my routes just by actually following contours, and I'll show you how to do that in a second here. So anyway, start off, we'll go to a new route, show the menu, and I'm going to zoom in here. And we're just gonna follow it here. Let's say we want to stick to around 120 some odd feet of water. So right now, you can actually see the white. How I actually do this is, let's cancel out of the route, go into chart options, go into view, and then on my Navionics card I'll go into fish range. So I'm gonna set that up. Say I want to do 120 feet of water. I want to follow contour, so I'm going to hit 125, and then that's for the maximum. For the minimum, I'm going to go with let's do 120, so that's 5. So you can pretty well see here where the 120 feet of water is coming in from. So let's just start up here along the shoal. Okay, so now just go back. Okay. So hit new route. So there we go. We're going to pull the menu up for the routing. I'm going to zoom in. And there's a shoal that comes all the way across, drops quickly from 80 feet all the way down. So I actually want to just go along that, and I'm going to start my route right here at this point. So I'm just going to move that. So that green mark is the first one, and all I'm going to do is make my zigzags right along that. Now, sometimes, you're pulling planer boards. In our case, this weekend we're going to be pulling 6 of them, 3 out either side. So you want to keep the turns down a little bit. Say you get one that's a little bit too steep of a turn, you can actually click on that one, hit move, and you can just punch it in a little bit there. You can see the red line moved in. Sorry about the noise, it's just my fireplace fan kicking in. We had about 8 inches of snow last night, and I'm inside instead of in the boat showing you guys this on the console. So I'm just going to follow this point here, and as you can see, that 5-foot increment moves quite a bit. Now that last one, these last bunch are way too sharp, so I'm going to move these again, shrink them in, finish moving. Oh, that's not too bad. So I can do, like when I'm setting up my routes, I can do a 10-mile route in a matter of probably a minute. Doesn't take very long at all. So I'm just going to follow this contour, zig back and forth around it. already I'm up to 1.75 miles. Looks like I'll catch up. Oh, I'm way too sharp again. The zigzags are good because it's going to allow the lures to raise and drop down and change speeds, and kind of drives these big, slow-moving fall walleye pretty crazy and aggressive. So it works out well. So anyway, you can see what I just did here. I screwed up. I actually went to move one, and so my last one's here instead of up here somewhere. So I'm just going to hit remove there for the last one. Continue on. So I won't go too much further than this here, just to show you guys. So there we go. So now I'm up to 2.5 miles on this this route. Each leg is about a 1/10 of a mile, not even, in between curves. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to zoom out here so you can see I've made a decent route coming along. All the green are from this one. I can quick go over and scan it again in case I want to change anything. But I think it's pretty good, and I'm going to show you guys in a second here how I can go about, after it's saved, how you can actually go and do that. So I'm going to name this route, and I'm just going to name this one Quinty. Going west to east. Actually, I'll go like this. West to east in 120 feet of water. Oops. We'll just say feet. So that's it. Hit save. It's working on saving that right now. Takes a little bit with all the changes in the route, but it goes pretty quick. I hit save again. It's going to ask me again to name it. This takes a second till all loads up. There we go. That's what I did already. So that is now saved. So when you go to start your route, whether you start it here or wherever, say I want to come in and only start like halfway down. I'm going to zoom back in. And say I actually want to go back to the south direction, so I'm going to start right here. I'm going to click on this one, that's the route we just did. And then I'm going to say start from that waypoint, and I'm actually going to go in reverse of the way I did. So now when the MotorGuide comes up, which it's not going to do because it's not deployed, but just saying autopilot, so I'll close that out. But it's actually going to route me back the opposite way. So you can start your routes any way you want. Works out really well. Go to navigation, hit cancel, get out of this. So now we got the route all done, but say you go into your route and you want to change something. Say this one here. So this is already planned. Say you've run this a bunch of times and you notice every time there's one turn that's too sharp. So I just go into here, go on to navigate. Actually, this always takes me a second to figure this out. Oops, go back to restore cursor. Okay, so you actually go over your route, hit the route that you actually saw. So that was that Quinty east-west one. Go to edit, and now everything's lighting back up, so you can actually zoom in here again and say I want to move this one now. So I just go back to move and I tweak that right there, finish moving. One thing that's really good with this that I do a lot, here I'll save this one. I'll go to a totally different spot. Now this lake that I'm going to show you isn't actually mapped on Navionics. So I've done sonar charts live, but I don't know, I was having issues with that this year. But typically when I go to this lake, what I'll do, it's a lake that will actually do a lot of casting along the shoreline, usually for northern pike and whatnot. So so what I'll do when I go up the first time, because it's not actually mapped and the weed beds come in some spots